covered. There's no question that was the reason for impeachment, because you weren't supposed to wait for an election. There was a word we heard a lot today. Dana mentioned that Speaker Pelosi started it on Sunday. It's a hyphenated word, but it's still one word, I think, cover-up. And you heard that messaging over and over again. You heard Jerry Nadler, who I think was one of the strongest today. He said, quote, "Any trial that doesn't allow witnesses is not a trial, it's a cover-up." And then you heard Adam Schiff again say, cover-up. I think we're going to hear that over and over, and that's the political messaging.
Can I just put one other sort of dynamic into this conversation, is that we're talking so much about the politics of Mitch McConnell and the Senate majority and the people who are up for re-election to help him keep it. The politics for the president, who is at the heart of this, are totally different. His campaign, even though it, is not a pleasant thing to have impeached as part of your legacy, his campaign is like, okay, bring it on, because they are seeing that it will get, and they're stirring up,
money off
galvanizing the supporters to raise money, and even for potential voters who are on the fence, who are convinced this is unfair.
And one of the other parts of the visuals surrounding the president is that this, Alan, could push into, and likely will, the State of the Union.
Yeah.
So as you reflect on that, what is that going to look like?
Very awkward. Yeah, I believe it will be very awkward, especially since if it pushes into the State of the Union, the president, as the Speaker has indicated, has been impeached. And that's a fait accompli. And I don't remember, it has been said that Bill Clinton was in the same posture.
Yes. Yep.
That he was an impeached president, and nonetheless he delivered his State of the Union address. So awkward, yes. Unprecedented, no.
I want to just draw our attention here to what we're seeing on the screen. Going a little blind, to be honest, but I think it says time remaining, and now there's a chyron in front of it. Time remaining 0, right? 0 minutes, 0 seconds.
But it's 2:28.
10 people left to vote. Okay, got it.
But it's 2:28, so...
Yeah, so they have the votes, but everyone wants to get on the record here, right? Everyone wants to have their chance to vote. So this is what happens a lot with these House votes. People will say, but the time's up. Why isn't it? This has to be gavelled to a close. It's sort of just like in the Senate. There's what the House is supposed to do, and there's what they do.
Brianna,
so this is more than actually 10 minutes.
I wanted to say, talking about the politics quickly, Adam Schiff is one of the managers I think is going to get interesting, because he's been someone they've attacked quite a bit. And I was actually thinking about this, because isn't he one of the ones they want to call as one of their witnesses? And I thought, ooh, this could get really ugly. Yeah. And the president is relentless on Adam Schiff on Twitter and in his rallies, and I think it's going to get a lot worse. And they're going to use him as kind of a whipping boy, for lack of a better word. I think he's going to get beat up a lot. Not that he's afraid of that, but I think it's interesting, because I don't believe any of the Clinton managers, I don't remember anybody being attacked like that. Or
well, the president pretended like it wasn't happening back then.
Right.
It's a totally different world.
True. Yeah, no Twitter either.
And so, what do the Republicans, the handful of them who want witnesses, are open to it, look like they can move in that direction, how concerned are they about preventing a situation where Democrats get to hear from John Bolton, but Republicans say, you know what, we want to hear from Hunter Biden. We want to hear from Adam Schiff. How likely, Dana, you have a good read on these senators.
I mean, but they're all votes, right? So, it depends how it's proposed.
Right.
I can't imagine it'll be proposed as a package deal by Democrats, but...
It's all individual.
But, so, these are the unknowns.
Let's listen in here. I think the House, I think this is the
motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 8 of Rule 20, the unfinished business is the question on agreeing to the Speaker's approval of the journal, which the Chair will put de novo. The question is on agreeing to the Speaker's approval of the journal. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. In the opinion of the Chair, the ayes have it. The journal stands approved. For what purpose is the gentleman from New York
I ask unanimous consent that members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks.
Without objection, so ordered. The Chair lays before the House a communication.
The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives, Madam, pursuant to the permission granted in Clause 2H of Rule 2 of the Rules of the U.S.
All right, so this is done as we expected, right? This was a bit of a foregone conclusion. We want to get the final vote on this, though. What was the final vote on this, Eric? Let's listen back in, actually, then we'll discuss the final vote.
With best wishes, I am, signed sincerely, Cheryl L. Johnson.
Chair lays before the House of Communication.
The Honorable the Speaker, House of Representatives, Madam, I write to respectfully tender my resignation as a member of the Committee on Financial Services. It has been an honor to serve.
Okay, so this is done, right? The impeachment manager's resolution has passed as we expected, and now it's on to the Senate. Wrap this up for us, Dana. This is a big moment for the House. I mean, they still have the walk over, but largely they are finished with the official business.
As we started this conversation, this was the last act in this really remarkable, extraordinary step that the House, any House takes when it comes to a president of the United States, the ultimate attempt at a punishment, which is impeachment of a president. He was impeached before Christmas, and this was the last step for them to send their managers, who are prosecutors, over to the Senate.
I want to go to Manu Raju, who is on Capitol Hill and has been following all of this. Okay, Manu, so the vote, 228 to 193.
Yeah, that's right. And there was a Democratic defection. It looks like it was Colin Peterson, who's a Democrat from Minnesota, who actually had voted against those two articles of impeachment, someone who has been opposed to this from the start. That's the only Democratic defection that we saw. The other defection on the Republican side, or a former Republican, now independent, Justin Amash, someone who supported impeachment. So all Republicans